What I really want to emphasize in this video is it's something that I brought up a little while ago, and it's the value of a thank you page click when done properly. Now, this is my thank you page in my funnel, and you can find it yourself just by going to maximum-leverage.com and opting in, and you'll see this whole video. The reason that this is a point of emphasis is because immediately after I sent the message kind of explaining the value of a thank you page click, the next day I got an email from Derek, who's a client, and he said, man, I implemented, man, Derek, badass. I mean, people that take action quick on things that are good advice are people poised for freaking success. So, man, great for you. But in his email, he said, Dagan, I implemented this immediately, and I've already seen sales. And I followed up with him subsequently, and it's changed dramatically his income and the value per click in his funnel just by making this change. Now, more recently, I was at an event, the Live the Dream event put on by my buddy Brian, Finale, and Todd. We were out in San Diego. And on the first day, I remember I was sitting in the room and I got up because I had to go to the bathroom. And Frank and Mark, and it was mostly Mark. Mark is one of the leaders over there. He sees me walk out of the room and he follows me and he's like, hey man, I gotta tell you something. I'm like, man, I gotta go to the freaking bathroom. So give me a minute. He's like, no, I gotta tell you. So he literally wouldn't let me get to the bathroom before saying this. He said, Dagan, remember that email you sent out a few days ago about the thank you page and positioning and framing that thank you page click effectively? Me and Frank followed your advice on that, and it's literally doubled our business. It's changed freaking everything. We're making twice as much money now. So that's the sort of feedback that is something that you want to pay attention to, and that's why this is a point of focus. Now I'm going to show you the math, so we're literally going to pull out the calculator, look at real live numbers so you can see the value of this, but let me explain this so that you understand what I mean by framing on the thank you page. It doesn't have to be a video. It could be text. It could be many different things, but a video is a great thing. It's not about selling. In my opinion, it is not about selling at all. It's about creating the proper perspective for that subscriber in terms of the value that you will give them from your newsletter, from your free newsletter. Forget about trying to lead to the next sale. In my opinion, if a person can get your thank you page and then feel like they just hit the lottery for just being on your list, what that essentially does is it opens them up for whatever comes next. And so this video basically says, hey, I don't know where you came from, but this is your lucky day, because this free newsletter is a newsletter that literally changes lives. And in that, then all I went into was different videos that people sent me over the years saying, just sharing their thoughts and the value that they've gotten from being on my newsletter. So just social proof to the point, right? And from there, the only thing I do is I say, okay, so I sent you an email. By the way, look below. You got some really awesome bonuses. And when you click the click to continue button, you're in for one heck of a surprise. Now, what that does, you see I didn't sell or frame or say like what comes next you got to buy or anything like that. All I did essentially, literally, was create value in the relationship that we're about to have so that they feel positive. And now, because they have that positive, open mentality and they're in a new world in the coolest of ways, they're open to whatever comes next. That's the magic of a thank you page. And that's all that happens here. Nothing to do with selling, everything to do with positioning and framing the value that they're going to get from you for free from this point forward. Now, what does that do in terms of sales? Now, you're lucky because I am a guy that's very curious about numbers. I want to see literally what happens when I do X. And I'm doing that all the time, addictively, incessantly, and figuring out all sorts of little cool tricks. So, these are just sort of the videos that I send out, and they're good ideas to pay attention, because if it's something that I'm taking the time to put in front of you, it means that it's something that's been a positive result in my own business. But let's look at the numbers. Now, this is one of the offers that I have in our agency, the home business agency. So the first sort of social proof and testament here is just to the value of the quality of traffic that we provide to our clients within our agency. It's something I take absolute pride in, and the proof is in the pudding. I don't have time to go through and show you all the sales of differing values and all that stuff that came from the traffic solely from our own agency, but you can see its effect right here. The only thing I'll say to you is these numbers are pretty accurate, they're representations, but they're not 100% accurate because in the system, not all tracking systems are perfect, right? So tracking to source is just fine, but some of the back-end sales, so some of the back-end revenue that's generated from the initial sales aren't tracked directly to, say, this or this, so they'll show up in this column. So these numbers over here are actually bigger than what they appear to be, but the representation of what you see here is all that matters for this demonstration to prove its point and be important and powerful in the way of improving your results in your business. So let me just pull up the trusty calculators. Now, maximum leverage funnel. This line corresponds to the page you just saw. People opt into my landing page, see this video, click the continue button. These are these clicks right here represented for the last 30 days and what happens next. Now, these clicks right here, these are cold traffic clicks we sent directly from our home business agency to the offer itself, not a landing page, just literally to a sales video and what happens. So in both situations, we create revenue, which is an awesome thing to have occur. That's how businesses run and all that. But let's look at first the conversion rate difference. Cold traffic, no thank you page. Because here's what happens. Think about it like this. If a person goes to your landing page, this is why you should have your own lead capture page and autoresponder and all of this, and then they opt in, they've just taken one step in terms of raising their hand and saying, I'm serious. If they then watch your video on your thank you page and then click the link, in the right mindset, those are 2 additional steps that they took to display their level of seriousness. Now you've got all of them on your list, right? And I'll emphasize here, these sales have nothing to do with any level of email follow-up that came afterwards. These are literally just one and done. They either clicked the link and bought, and that turned into money, or they didn't, and nothing else happened. There's no email follow-up in these numbers. This is literally just click and buy or not. If email follow-up was put into play in each of these scenarios, clearly these numbers would be larger, 2 to 3 times larger at least. So just for emphasis and accuracy's sake, take that into account. 21,000 clicks, 90 sales. So let's just look at what that number is. Just put 90 divided by 21,344. And all right, so we're looking at about a 0.5% sale rate. So 1 out of every 200 or so people buys, right? Now that's cold traffic, nothing else happening, just sent directly to a deal. Clear. Now, if we're looking at this thank you page framing, what happens then? So here is what happens. 104 divided by 6262, and now we're looking at a 1.66% click to sale ratio. Do you see the difference there? That's at least 300% more sales by just doing this little framing. And really it's a bit more. It's more like 400% if we're looking at real numbers, right? So if you want to increase the number of sales you get from your clicks, this is how to do it. You do this framing properly. You create the leverage in the environment for you to win. And that position on your thank you page is a money position. Make sure you use it effectively. Build the list and then use that traffic right there to seed and frame the right things and then push people through to the next step and just watch what freaking happens. It's not a dating thing. It's not no one has any special powers. It's a factor of psychology and direct response marketing. Create a situation for yourself to win. Let people feel positive about what they just stepped into. And the ramifications for what that creates next are huge. A 400% increase in results per click. So food for thought. Um, implement, and no straight out for traffic. We've got you. So these are our internal results, and that's the deal. So feedback, of course, please send it, especially once you go out and implement. Questions, of course, please ask them. I'm down for that. But this is real. Be aggressive, do your thing, but do it smart, do it strategically. And this is one small point of strategy that's a huge leverage point in your business. So make great use of it. So that's all I got. That's the deal.